What is your favorite memory associated with the Illinois Cross Country Club?
Oh boy.
Aurora meet. There's a lot happening there. It was my first 2 weeks as president, and I'd broken 30, and it was just great to see like so many people from the team run really well.
I think my favorite memory would probably just have to be wrapped up in like nationals my freshman year, just because the whole thing of traveling in a van with like so many other people that like I knew pretty well at that point, but still not like super well. I guess my junior year because I joined then. Having like, because my friend Callie and I, we wrote a nationals rap together, then like hearing them all perform was just super funny, and like being able to run around the whole day cheering people on after my own race and making all these kinds of friends and memories and playing hot seat and getting to know everyone was just like a super fun, chill experience, and I love that. It was like a whole encompassing thing, like this is IXC, this is what it is, like a family.
That would be Aurora this year. Yeah, because of how a 50-second PR after not PRing for 2 years. Placed on the team, we won the meet, and it was mostly because, well, I had been coming off of a it was a really bad year in terms of racing. And after my nationals meet, I wasn't really even sure if I was going to continue racing again. But I mean, you know, I still showed up, still ran with the team, still went to meets. And well, coming off of like all this break I took, dropped out of the first race that I was in. And I mean, I did some stuff for the summer, but like going into the race at Aurora, it was very clear that I was afraid of racing. And so, I mean, I was healthy, healthy-ish, and I thought that one or two things were going to happen. Either I was going to have a terrible race because of mucus, or I was going to have a bad race because I was scared. And I had made up my mind if I dropped out at Aurora, I would stop showing up to the club, stop running, stop competing. But it didn't happen. And it went well, and well, it's pretty good.
Sophomore year nationals, when we were in Hershey, it was really hilly, very hard.
Sorry.
Very hard, and it was just one of those races where you're running and you don't really expect to do that well, but suddenly you're doing really well, and you're like, whoa, I can do well in this race, because it was like, I think there was like 2K to go, and another team was shouting out the places, and I realized that I was like within being All-American, which is all I wanted. And it was just, I felt really strong, really good, and hoping to feel that way on Saturday.
Regionals was really fun. It was super deep. Even maybe the regional was weaker, but our team was like, you know, men's and women's. We were at the top, and through the middle. Honestly, we dominated both those races, so that was really, really fun. That was a beautiful day too. Also, the first Aurora race, because we didn't know how fast that course was, the first time we went there, and everybody ran super fast, and I thought it went like better than it did, and then I just learned that course is extremely, extremely fast. So, but that was fun.
Probably going to Nat's sophomore year, going all the way to Hershey, Pennsylvania, just like being able to see the Appalachian Mountains on the way there and just like hanging out with the entire team. That was a lot of fun, and it was also a point in my career where I was setting a lot of goals for myself and just constantly improving, so that was really cool.
I would say Nats, like when everyone kind of gathers around in like a hotel room and we're all like getting hyped before the actual like nationals race wherever it is hosted that year. And every year, at least since I've been here, there's been like rap battles and like people getting like roasted in like a nice way, because it shows like that we treat each other like family, and we can mess around, and so it's really cool like having that experience with people.
Running at the Sean Berber Memorial 400, I would say that was my favorite because it's always a fun atmosphere of people that are trying to PR, and then people are just there to kind of have fun, sort of like an end of the season festivities. Last year I had to run in my underwear because the juniors and seniors lost the bet versus the freshmen and sophomores who would run better. So that was a fun time. Yeah, it's always a good time each year.
Freshman year at Nationals, we went to Lexington, and so we have rap battles every year. So we did a rap with like the freshman boys, and I only said one line in the rap, which is, "Yo, I'm about to drop a beat." And it's funny because like I was known for like eating beats before races freshman year, so like the whole room cracked up, and yeah, it was just really funny. So yeah, that was one of my favorite moments on the club for sure.
Okay, wow, it's really hard to pick one thing, but she just reminded me I really liked that trip too to Hershey. My parents drove a van, so that was super cool, having my parents come meet all my friends. They kept saying, "Wow, Sarah, we didn't know about your secret life." And so that was exciting. They got to see my secret life of college. And then we went to the Hershey factory, and I got like 5 pounds of chocolate. It was awesome.
Okay, so like my freshman year, I very fondly remember Feldman eating this was at Kentucky last year, my freshman year. I remember Feldman eating like a raw beet in the hotel bathroom, and I think I still have like a picture. I could probably send it to you. But I also, like, freshman year was a lot of people who I think most people don't know, but like long run used to be kind of like, I don't know, like we would have hour-long long runs that would just be like one person telling one story the whole time. They were like themed, and I don't know, we had like strikeouts. It was fun. That was a great memory.
The scavenger hunt my freshman year was probably one of the best experiences because, well, it's really funny looking back on pictures from that actually, because there were these people that I had just met and now I actually know them. So it was really cool because that was when I first felt like, yeah, this club is for me, and got a feel for what the club was like.
How would you describe your experience with the cross country club in one word?
Commitment. I think it's weird, people just don't get like, why are you running? And it's because we're committed, not just to the athletic part of it, but we're committed to each other. I know it's not going to be the same without a team, and it's not going to be the same without a lot of the people, but for these 4 years, we've had it perfect. We were committed to each other, we were committed to the training, we were committed to competing, and it was just committed.
I'd have to say memorable. There's a lot of, not to like go on the memories thing, but I have so many memories that I've learned so much, so I think kind of being memorable is like, encompasses the good, the bad, like the good races, the bad races, everything that's happened through being on this team.
I would use the word happy because it's been the best experience I've had in college. It's not the studying for tests, doing homework. It's not like passing classes. It's being part of the club, being part of people, like-minded people, and working hard to achieve something.
Blast is a pretty good word because some people might have noticed that I like to run my races really fast at the beginning, so I think that's a good word.
I'll go with passionate because there are some days where there's like no reason to be here, but people come anyway because they know that it'll be worth it in the long run. Like the day we did that lumberjack workout the first time, a bunch of you guys got out there, did it anyway, and it was like not fun conditions, not ideal at all, but people do it anyway, makes everybody better for it.
Important. It helped me grow outside of running. It taught me a lot about my mental health. It taught me a lot about just creating relationships and the importance of being a board member through track and stuff, just what it takes to run a club as big as ours. It taught me so many things without expecting it to teach me anything, just because I did run all 4 years of high school, so I did cross country throughout that, and it's like I learned a lot then, but it's not the same because it's always like a coach telling you exactly what to do and like you're expected to do that, whereas here it's like, yeah, you get the weekly emails being like, this is the workout for the week, but it's all up to you as to whether or not you do it, and then it's up to you if you want to do additional research to figure yourself out more so than figure out what's good for the team for the most part. So it teaches you so many really cool and amazing skills throughout your experience on the team, so that was awesome to have.
Invigorating? it's like a fresh, like, breath of something new. It's nothing I ever had experienced before, and I learned more about myself.
I would say relaxed, because compared to high school running, you sort of, if you show up to practice, you show up every day, you don't want to miss a single day of practice in high school, but then you show up here and there's sort of a relaxed feel. If you don't go to practice, it doesn't really matter that much. People are still very competitive, but yet there's also people that are here that just sort of having fun, just running, kind of training loosely, so it's more of a relaxed feel.
I would say friendship. There's just a lot of camaraderie on the club. It's not as much about like winning every meet as it is just like being there for each other. And yeah, I mean, I've just had like a lot of great experiences, meeting a lot of great people, especially like in the vans to nationals and in the cars to meets, and cheering people on. And yeah, it's been a great experience, and I've really been fortunate just to spend so much time with some really great people.
Acceptance, because whether I've been super dedicated to the club or too busy to come, people have always accepted me with whatever I can give to the club. No matter what speed I am, no matter how intense my training is, I always feel welcome.
Consistent. Like the club is always there. Like even it's not just the club doesn't just circle around like one person or one group of people. It's always there, and it's always been there, and I think it will continue to be there. So I think like consistent would be how I would describe it, and like consistently fun, consistently like challenging, consistently all those things that make people do it. It's consistently that.
Dynamic, because everything is always changing on the club, I think. The people are like changing, and I made a bunch of different friends in different years. I mean, old friends obviously were maintained, but maybe we didn't click at the start, but then gradually it developed, and my times also got faster in general, so that was really nice to see myself improving at the same time as my relationships grew with other people.
What would I say to new people on the club? Club is whatever you make it, and it can be hard being pulled in a lot of different directions, especially the first year of college when you're like finding your place. But give the club time, because the people are really, really high quality. And if you just dismiss it as, oh, I already did cross country in high school, you're gonna miss out.
Well, I would say that to like get involved like as soon as you can, go to social events, meet people, talk to people that outside of like people that you race with or train with, just like meet people.
I watched then at the time Coach Summerfield telling us that it goes by too fast, and then half an hour later I became president, and I was convinced that I'm going to be here for 2 years. It's not going to go by that fast, and then here I am, like the last 4 days of practice, and it does go by really fast. Just enjoy it, because it's not going to be the same without everybody. And it does go by really fast, and it's so cliche, but it really does.
This is a great place for you to care about something. That's all you can ask for in college, is to find somewhere to be with a group of people who care about something. I think it's valuable. I think it's fun. You can still get better at running, absolutely. And the club experience is what you make it. The club is what you make it. If people care, if people invest themselves and their energy, then the club will be better for it. And there's no reason that it can't stop growing and getting better.
Get as involved as you can. Like, I know school is hard and you can miss practice sometimes, but like jump right in, go for it. Like, everyone is super nice. Don't be afraid to just put yourself out there. Because I joined and I didn't know a single person. I was a junior. Like, I was like almost afraid that they'd be like, oh, you're a junior just joining, what are you doing? But no, they're welcoming with open arms, and like that's what the team is about. Like, putting in hard work, working together with people no matter how fast or slow you are, like what your pace is. It's just a whole team of being people who are super friendly, super social, hardworking, fun, nice, like, so just put all you have into it.
It's so much fun. It creates an incredible bond. I know I haven't been around the past 2 years as often just because of work and helping out with athletic training and a bunch of other things that I got involved in. But I know that there's always a place for me on the team, and it's just so important to find that like home and niche on such a big campus. So that's super cool that like the club was able to do that for me.
In high school, you had to be at practice, you had to do this, you had to do that. You come to college, your freshman year, there's a ton of stuff to do here and a ton of stuff you should do here. Don't feel like this has to be the only thing you do, but you definitely have time to do this. And you definitely have time to do this well, and you definitely have time to reap what you sow. Like if you want to keep running after high school, this is the way to do it.
I would say definitely come out for the team. It's a good way to make friends. It's a good way to stay committed, stay devoted to running, and stay devoted to your studies. The combination of training and committing to running is it's a very good influence for staying committed to your studies as well.
Everything that you knew prior to college, at least running wise and like team wise, try to put that behind you, because this is a different type of dynamic. It's not as strict as in high school. I feel like people had so much pressure to their commitment and to their performance that it kind of took the fun away. So I feel like club, they should take advantage of how the dynamic is here and not be so hard on themselves, because I think it shouldn't have to be like that, because that's a lot of pressure that I think they put on themselves.
It's whatever you want it to be, and it's been very cool watching over the 4 years how the club has changed, and that really like emphasizes that, because exec board to exec board, if you want something to happen, I think we've done a really good job of making it happen, like with how we changed our whole season this year. As a graduating senior, I'm really excited to see like where the club gets to go in the future and who steps up and gets to be our leaders.
It's just really good to have an activity like this in your life. Something outside of school, or something completely outside of school or academics that you're really committed to. Yeah, I think it's just good to have something like that in your life.
The club is a really great place to be. I made some of my best friends on the club, but it also wasn't always easy. And so if you're ever feeling like sometimes I feel like I'm annoying, or like I'm not quite clicking with people, to keep giving it a chance and keep trying, because like I said, it's been very dynamic for me. Sometimes it feels great, sometimes not, but if you're thinking about joining the club or staying on the club, absolutely always give it the benefit of the doubt, because we're all here to do hard things together, and the bond is really strong in the end. So it basically shaped my college experience.
One person from my time on the club? Gosh, the easy answer is Muneeb, right? I mean, Muneeb makes us all better. We're all really, really lucky to have him on this club, because he shows us all how valuable it is to care about something, and how much you can truly care about something and the effect that it has on other people.
I want to give thanks to Ryan Summerfield. His workouts and training, that all really, it worked for me, honestly. That we had a pretty good, solid season that year at Hershey. Men took fourth. A lot of people in B race did well. I'd been having a pretty solid race for up to 7 kilometers, and then I realized that I couldn't sustain it. I was coughing, I was screaming, I was a lot of things. I've been leading the race for about a mile, and then I got passed on the last hill. All the tough parts of the race had gone by, and then right after I got passed, I started dying very, very hard. And then I remember Ryan saying, "You won't have another opportunity like this." And that made me remember that he had won the B race as a sophomore. And so I pushed even harder. I was very, very close to dropping out until he had said that. If I dropped out, I don't know how much I would have continued running with the club. And then, I didn't feel that great after, but physically, but it was good. It was a good meet.
In my memory, and I've told him this a billion times, Muneeb has done an outstanding job, president. There's no doubt about that. I hear my older brother talks to, obviously, he's friends with the alumni, and they keep track of our club. They like watch what we're doing. They are dumbfounded with the amount of work that he's done. It's incredible. They're very impressed with it, and they're very thankful for what he's done.
Probably have to say it's a tie between like Richard or Anneliese, because I feel like they both have pushed me a lot. Like Richard through organizing his workouts and like being like, hey, you can do this, and Anneliese just being like an idol and be like, I want to be like Anneliese, like I want to race like her, and she's been super nice, super encouraging throughout the whole thing, and being like, hey, you can do it, like I'm proud of how well you've been doing in this workout, like you're improving so much, like you can do it, girl. And like the words of encouragement on the running ahead logs and stuff like that, like they're both kind of encompassed into like one, I guess, because they do the same thing.
Probably Emma B, just because she is a rock star and she's super talented and she's just always so nice to everyone. So it was great to have such an amazing role model throughout the time here.
Quintato. I remember when I was a freshman, when I showed up for my very first day of club running, it was like a Saturday before practice officially began, and I think Quinn was the first one who talked to me. And yeah, Quinn has just been supportive and like, welcoming and just like a funny guy and fun to hang around, and I just really enjoyed running workouts with him and doing long runs.
I'll give my biggest thanks to Steve Crockless. He was my coach freshman and sophomore year. He had a big impact on me because he was usually a leader for me freshman and sophomore year. He really pulled me in to continue running and staying with the club freshman year. So I know I had a lot of friends who joined initially but did not continue running with the club, so he was sort of an influential piece in keeping me in running, so I appreciated him.
I guess I'd say Grace Adriana. I remember when she first came, joined the team, she was like starting off as like basically baseline, and I saw her. I was able to see her get so much better so fast, and that really inspired me to keep coming. And then we started working out together, and she was also the person that allowed me to collegiately PR in the 800 because I stuck with her. And usually but that is track. But in terms of cross country, me sticking with her in the beginning, it was just, she would motivate me to go, and workouts, she would motivate me to come. She always had fun conversations during just regular easy runs too. So I would say she stands out of everyone else.
The coaches, because they all were obviously interested in my running career. So Steve, my freshman year, and Ryan and Richard were all very helpful as coaches, and it just, I don't know, they made me feel very valued even when I wasn't sure about myself or about my running or about my relationships with other people in the club. I always knew the smallest thing is bothering me, I can go talk to them and they care and they'll listen.
All my favorite people in college are from the team.
Wouldn't have friends without the team.
Yeah. My roommates are from the team. All my favorite memories are with people from the team, whether it's doing cross-country stuff, hanging out outside of practice, social events. It's like the highlight of college.
Chris Kennedy, because freshman year, he and I were pretty much the same speed, so we'd drop off on the easy runs together, we'd do our workouts together, and I just remember this one time, I know exactly what sidewalk we're on the tempo loop. I was dropping off on the tempo, Steve loved tempos, and Chris was like, nah dude, get up here. And I got up there, and to have someone so cool from the club, so popular, he legitimately cared about me, to me that said, this is a club where people care about me. Thank you from the absolute bottom of my heart, thank you to all the alumni that put this together, the alumni that had to go through hell to make this club what it is, to all the freshmen that provide us with so much life and energy, and all the guys and all the girls, and all the great leaders that came before me, the great ones that are going to come after me. Thank you, Nurka. Thank you to everyone that showed up, and even if you didn't come back, thank you, because the first day of practice is one of the happiest days. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, IXC.
Thank you, Illinois Cross Country Club.
Thank you, IXC.
Thank you, Illinois Cross Country Club.
Thank you, Illinois Cross Country Club.
Thank you, IXC.
Thank you, Illinois Cross Country Club.
Thank you, IXC. I can do that.
Don't get a no.
You got pretty eyes.